And we are off to the races. All right, everybody, let's lie down on your back and we will begin with your rest assess. So, legs apart, palms to ceiling, eyes are closed, and giving yourself now permission to drop in and get a sense of your body sense. Just take a breath in. And we want to explore as you exhale your masses and spaces and the 4 common muscle imbalances and investigate where stuck stress could be living in your body. So the first is in your shoulder girdle. So just noticing where your shoulder blades are related to the mat. If you feel like ideally your shoulder blades are flat and wide, weighted to the mat. Or if you have stuck stress in your shoulder girdle, you might feel like you're tipped back, like the weight of your upper body is on the tops or the tips of the shoulder blades, or you might feel just kind of like the tips and the bones of the shoulder blades are pressing into the mat. You can also turn your head to the right and left and notice if there's any tension or any sense of resistance from one side to the other. That is also a sign of stuck stress in your shoulder girdle. The second is in your diaphragm, and the diaphragm is your upper core and it's your breathing muscle. That will affect your rib cage and it will affect the curve of your spine. So ideally you have what we call a low back curve, where the curve of your spine is from the top of the pelvis to your belly button. But if you have stuck stress in your diaphragm, you will notice that you have what we call a whole back curve versus a low back curve, where the curve of your spine, the ribs are off the mat and it literally runs from your pelvis to the top of your shoulder blades. That will affect your tension in your mid-back, your rib cage area. You'll find it challenging to take a full, complete breath, and you might notice tension in your low back. The third is in your pelvis, noticing where you're weighted on your pelvis. Ideally, you have equal weight on 2 fluffy butt cheeks. If you have stuck stress in your pelvis, you might notice that your pelvis is tipped forward, so you're more weighted down towards your tailbone, or that you've got weight just on your sacrum as opposed to resting on your tissue. That will impact low back. It will also impact your hips, your knees, and your ankles. It's a very pinnacle point in our body because that's where we go from one spine, one pelvis, and then we separate to 2 legs. So noticing if you feel equally weighted on your 2 legs, or if one leg feels longer than the other. Ideally, the back of your thighs are weighted to the mat and your knees are a little bit lifted off the mat. Also that you're weighted a little bit lateral on the thickest part of your calf, and your toes are pointed to where the wall and the ceiling meet. If there's stuck stress in your pelvis, you might find that one foot might be turned out and the other pointed to the ceiling, or both toes are pointed to the ceiling. Taking your focus back to your torso, divide your body into a left and right, and here we're going to assess how efficiently your autopilot is functioning today. So notice if you have equal weight on the right and left sides of your body, or if you feel like you're heavily weighted from one side to the other. Or you might notice that one arm or leg feels longer than the other. I'm going to have you bend your knees, take a focused breath in, and as you exhale, roll onto your side and press yourself up to a seated position. We are going to start off with the rebalance sequence today. So you're going to take your full roller, the longest one, and you're going to put it lengthwise on your mat. When we get onto the roller, you want your head fully into contact with the roller. So if you start your pelvis down at the bottom of the roller, you put one hand on the roller and one hand on the floor, your knees are bent, and you just simply lift your hip up so that you can get onto the roller. And then with one hand on either side, your knees bent and your feet planted, you can roll yourself down. Check, reach above your head and make sure that your whole head is on the roller. Place your elbows, your forearm, and your hands on the mat and go into your gentle rocking. What's most important here is that you're keeping your spine all the way down to your tailbone, Velcro to the same part of the roller, so you're actually rocking with the roller. You don't want to be laterally gliding. You want to literally tip with the roller so you can feel your elbow and forearm catch you. Here we always do our gentle rocking as soon as we get onto the roller, so that it helps your spine to get used to being on the roller. And this is also helping your autopilot, your body's ability to know where your center of gravity is. Pause there. Place both hands on your pelvis, fingers towards your pubic bone. Make sure your knees are bent and your feet are planted. Inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to come into what we call a tuck, where you're drawing your pubic bone towards your belly button. You'll notice that your low back lengthens down towards the roller. But also check that you're relaxed in your glutes and light in your feet. So you're moving your pelvis using the strength of your pelvis versus your feet or your glutes. On your next exhale, you're going to what we call tilt, which is an untuck, as you're letting the weight of your sacrum land on top of the roller. Again, exhale into your tuck, you're light on your feet, relaxed on your glutes, and then you tilt. When you tilt, we want to keep your ribs still. So if you're not sure, what you can do is put your hands on your ribs and simply tuck and tilt, and notice if your ribs are staying still. So if your back has been a little bit stiff, you might find that doing this tuck and tilt, moving just your pelvis, might feel like it's a little bit stiff, or that it's hard to keep your rib cage still. The movement is very discreet. Now place both hands on your belly, and we're going to do what's called a three-dimensional breath. As you inhale, think about breathing depth, width, and length into your rib cage. Take a slightly longer than normal inhale and visualize your rib cage moving to the ceiling and to the roller, and then exhale. Again, as you inhale, visualize your rib cage moving east and west of your belly button, and exhale. And then again, as you inhale, visualize your collarbone moving north of your belly button and your pubic bone moving south of your belly button. So let's do one more, breathing all of those three elements in, and exhale. Now, keeping your hands on your belly, we're going to focus on the exhale, which helps us to activate what we call the deep-rooted core mechanism. We're going to make three sounds. The first will be shh. The second will be like air out of a tire. And the third will be like an AH. Keeping your hands on your belly, as you exhale, just allow your hands to follow the natural movement of your abdomen. We'll do this together. Inhale. Exhale. Now like the tire. Inhale. Exhale. Noticing the hugging, the drawing up and in of your belly. Again, inhale. Now it's the AH sound. Good. And now we're going to do it again and make the one of the three sounds that gives you the best connection of your abdominals drawing up and in. Inhale. And now no sound, and see if you can get that same activation of your core. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Place your hands on your rib cage. Extend your arms up, but angle your arms slightly towards your thighs, and your hands are apart as if they're just holding onto a box. As you inhale, draw your shoulder blades apart, And as you exhale, relax your shoulder blades around the roller. What's important here is that you're moving your shoulder blades without compressing your chest. So as your shoulder blades draw apart, your collarbone stays wide, your neck stays relaxed. And then as your shoulder blades relax and hug around the roller, your elbows stay straight. Inhale, shoulder blades draw towards the ceiling. Exhale, shoulder blades hug the roller. Notice here, are your shoulder blades moving smoothly in equal timing? Or does it feel like it's a little bit jerky, not smooth, or one is moving ahead of the other? Now keep your shoulder blades relaxed around the roller, keep your elbows straight, and we'll go into our scissors. What's most important here is that you're keeping your arms above the height of your body. So notice, as my one arm comes towards my head, I stop before it drops down by my ear. I can still see it out of the corner of my eye. The bottom arm stops when it's above your pelvis, because here we want to move just in your shoulder joint, but not in your shoulder blade. Now hold both arms up. Place your hands down on the ground. Your elbows are straight. They're about as wide as your mat. You're going to reach your arms. Now open your throat so your nose and chin are pointed to the ceiling. Inhale. As you exhale, gently tilt your head to the left, but just to 11 o'clock. Reach your right arm long. As you reach your right arm and your throat is open and your head is tilted, we're looking to feel some two-directional length or tensional pull either in your neck or down that arm. If you don't notice anything, on your next breath, gently tilt your body to the left of your roller. Pause, take a breath in. As you exhale, slowly bring your body back, your head back, and you're at center. We'll go the other way. Inhale. As you exhale, gently turn your head to the right just to 1 o'clock. No further than 2 o'clock. Reach your left arm, looking to find two-directional pull either down your neck, shoulder, or arm. If you don't notice, then just gently tilt your body to the right. We're not looking for pain. We just want to feel this gentle neural stretch. Inhale. Exhale, slowly unwind by bringing your body back to center and then your head. We're going to straighten one leg. You're going to roll off to the side of your roller, move your roller out of the way, and lie down on your back. Turn your palms to the ceiling, close your eyes, and let's just check and see what we notice. What did we just do? We just did a rebalance sequence where we worked on establishing your body's efficiency of its autopilot to know where your center is. Notice if before you felt like you were unevenly weighted from the right to the left, do you feel more equally weighted on the right and left sides of your body? Also notice, as we did our 3D breath and our pelvic tuck and tilt, if you have more of you on the mat. Notice if your shoulder blades are a little more weighted to the ground. Are your rib cage more weighted to the ground? So instead of a whole back curve, you have a low back curve. Also notice if you feel more equally weighted on your pelvis as opposed to tilted towards your tailbone. Turn your head to the right and left and notice if there's any more ease in your movement. Pause, take a focused breath in, and then just exhale. We're going to bend your knees, roll onto your side, and push yourself up to a seated position. Now, if you were using the long roller, but the only melt roller that you have is the performance roller, you're now going to switch to your performance roller. If you've got the regular melt roller, you're going to keep using your one melt roller. So, we're going to take the roller behind us and we're just going to simply sit ourselves up on top of the roller. and we are going to go into what we call your lower body compression sequence. Everyone doing okay? That rebalance sequence is very powerful, isn't it? That to notice that change and that alignment between your shoulder girdle, your ribs, and your pelvis, really, you know, to start and end your day with that is really, really good for your spine. Okay, so your knees are bent, your feet are planted, and you're just going to place your fingertips on the roller. Notice my spine is straight, and you're just going to go rock forward and back on your sits bones. Now, all there is to notice here when the roller is moving, this is what we call a glide. So I'll distinguish between glide, shear, and rinse for those of you that are new to melt so that you can understand the difference and what they do to your body. So the glide is preparatory and exploratory. So as we rock forward and back on your sits bones, notice if you're moving evenly on your sits bones or if it feels like there's like a thunk thunk. That's an indication your pelvis might not be centered. It might be rotated forward on one side. Or it might feel like one side is protruding bigger down more than the other. And that could be a sign that your pelvis is more tilted. One side is up or down than the other. Now we're going to come with your sits bones on the feet side of your roller. And then you're going to lightly take your hands behind you. Now activate your core. So you want to tuck your pelvis by drawing your pubic bone to your belly button. The weight of your body is on the roller, and now we go into what we call your tail triangle glide. You don't have much weight in your arms. The weight of your body is on the pelvis. You're active through your core by drawing your belly button in, and you're just rolling on your sacrum. You're stopping before you get to your tailbone, and you're stopping before you roll off your pelvis. Tilt your knees to the right and just roll on the right side of your sacrum and a little bit onto your glutes. Keep your breathing just nice and regular. Inhale and exhale, finding that flow. Next, you can tilt your knees over to the left. And if you're on your right instead of your left, that's okay. We can just be on the other side. Now, we're going to stay on this side. And you're going to take your right hand and place it on your right knee. And we're going to go into our deep hip. So to get into the deep hip, you can keep your legs together, or you can let this knee fan down, and it just allows you to get a little bit deeper. So visualize if you were to fan your hand, pardon my rear end, but you were to fan your hand like so and put it on your butt. When you're in the deep hip, you're working through that whole area of the deep hip and the glute. But you're looking as you glide, you're exploring, saying, where do I notice any tenderness or stuck stress? And when you find a part, you're just gonna bump up against it. So you're gonna make your glide a little bit smaller. So you're just gliding up and down, picking a little area. Make sure it's tolerable. And then you're gonna pause. Now we're gonna shear. For the shear, you're just going to fan this leg up and down. Good. Again, the shoulder, there shouldn't be a lot of tension on the shoulder if the weight of your body is on your roller. And then we wait. We take a focused breath in, give the tissue time to adapt, and then you exhale. Now, we're going to stay on this side and now go into our side hip where you straighten this leg out. You come down onto your forearm and you roll right over onto the side of your pelvis. So we're still on the pelvis. Notice I'm not on my thigh. I'm actually on what we call the side hip. And then we go into our glide where you're gliding up and down. So this would be areas like the gluteus minimus, your piriformis area. So you're on the top, you're on the side of the pelvis. Notice this bottom leg is relaxed. We want the tissue relaxed so that the roller can penetrate the tissue. And then once you find a part that's a little tender, you can just tighten up the glide, up and down. And then we pause. For the shear, the roller stays still, and we can roll your hip forward and back. Another version of shearing that you can do is called cross friction, where you pin the tissue and you literally rub your hip up and down like you're trying to scratch your hip. Choose the shear that feels best for you. It must be tolerable. Then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Good. And then you can just roll off the roller and we'll get set up on the other side. Now I'm going to turn around so I can see you and you can see me. But you can face the other way. It's up to you. So again, we just want to get ourselves back up onto the roller. And then we're going to tip over now onto the right side, and let's just go into our deep hip. So again, we're contracted through the core. My shoulder is relaxed. You can let this knee fall out. Once you find a spot that feels a little tender and you want to work on it, you just tighten up the glide. Good. And then you pause and we shear. You're going to fan this leg up and down. Excellent. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in. Give the tissue time to adapt. And exhale. Extend this leg out. Come down onto your forearm and roll right onto your side for your side hip. Then we go into our glide. So again, the glide is preparing the tissue for the shear. We're looking for any areas of stuck stress, any points of tenderness. When we find something that's tolerable, we just bump up against it and we tighten the glide. Good, and everything's for about 3 breaths. We want to get in and get out, and then we pause there. And in our shearing, we have 2 options here. One, you can rock forward and back on your hip, or you can do cross friction. If you like both, you can do both, or just pick the one that feels best for you. And then you wait. Give the tissue time to adapt. Take a focused breath in, and exhale. Good, and then you just roll off the roller. So now we're going to do our inner thigh glide and shear. So you're going to take your roller. You're going to lie on your side. If you need a pillow under your head, you can get a pillow under your head. Your roller is going to be lined up more with the top of your head and your torso. If you have the performance roller, then it's just going to be right in front of the middle of, it's going to be in line with your hand and your arm, so that the performance roller works well. Then with your hand, you're going to straighten the roller out, straighten your arm out, and then you're going to tilt the roller towards you. So the top of the roller is away from your body. It's like your body's making a letter K. Then take the top leg, and bring it on top of the roller. So your knee is on the roller right now. And then you straighten the leg out and place your toe onto the ground. And the roller will come just above your knee. So we don't want to roll on the knee, we want to roll just above. Take your top hand and plant it flat on the floor. And then using that arm, you're going to start to glide forward and back. What's important here is that your ribs and your pelvis are moving in equal timing. And you're just gliding in the upper 2 inches above your knee. If you don't notice much there, you can turn your toe down so you're a bit more on the front of thigh if you don't notice much on the inside of thigh. And then for the shear, you're going to flex your foot, and you have a couple of options. You can bend and straighten your knee. You can flex your foot and lift and lower your heel. Either or. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Good. Then take the roller and move it up to about mid-inner thigh. Sometimes the roller ends up there automatically as just part of the movement. And then we glide with the hand flat on the floor. You want to move your whole torso in equal timing. So we're moving your shoulders, your ribs, and your pelvis, and this arm is directing that. Keep your leg nice and relaxed and heavy on the roller. Pick a spot, tighten up your glide. And then we shear. You flex your foot. You can either bend and straighten your knee, or you can lift and lower your heel. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Then you take the roller and you're going to move it right up into your inner thigh. So this is where you want to try and find that sweet spot where you can get right into your groin. And then same thing, use this arm to move you. Now if you're not feeling like you're getting in there enough, you can also come up onto your forearms and use your forearms, pardon me, to just sort of glide, navigate the glide on the roller. So if coming up feels better, this is where you want to make sure your core is engaged so that you're not sagging in the back. And then with the shear, you can do one of 3 shears here. One, you can bend and straighten the knee. You can lift and lower the heel. Now if you're not finding you're getting in there enough, you can do the cross friction like we showed you on the side hip. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Good. All right. How is that? If you have issues in your knees or your hips, then and you felt that there was some stuck stress going on in the inner thigh, then that's definitely a good one to revisit regularly. So let's do the other side. So same thing, you're going to lie on your side. You're going to bring the roller so it's more in line with your head and torso versus down here with the feet. You'll notice because your bottom leg will bump up against it. You take your hand and you move the roller an arm's length away. And then you tilt the bottom of the roller towards you. So it's the top of the roller is angled away. You want to get your thigh when you're rolling perpendicular with the roller. Then bring your knee and place it on top of the roller. And then straighten your leg and the roller will land just above your knee. With your top hand flat on the ground, you're going to go into your glide where you're rolling the roller forward and back. Remember, you want your whole torso, your shoulders, ribs, and pelvis moving in equal timing. So we protect your back. Once you find a spot, you tighten up the glide. And then we go into our shear. You can flex your foot and bend and straighten your knee. You can lower and lift your heel. Then you wait. Take a focused breath in. And exhale. Move the roller to your inner thigh, mid-inner thigh. With your hand flat, you can go into your glide. Again, make sure your whole torso is moving in equal timing. Find a spot, tighten up the glide. Remember, you can explore, right? If you don't notice much on the inner thigh, you can turn so you're a little bit more on your front of thigh. Good, and then with the shear, you can flex your foot and bend and straighten your knee, or you can lower and lift your heel. Check the shoulders, nice and relaxed. Then you wait. Take a focused breath in, and exhale. Good. Then we want to move the roller right up deep into the hip joint. Good. You can keep your arm moving in this position. Or if you're finding that you need to get in there a little deeper, you can also come up onto your forearm and just shift back and forth. So we're way up in the groin now. Awesome. Good. And then for your shear here, you can either bend your knee and lift and lower your heel, or you could do the cross friction. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Good. And then we can come off of there. Good. Pushing yourself up to a seated position. Excellent. Remember, water is great, so if you've got water nearby, you can take a sip of water. It's really important that we hydrate our tissue when we're melting. And definitely before and after we melt. All right, so we're going to go into a lower body length sequence, and we're going to do a little core challenge with our pelvic tuck and tilt and our low back decompress as well. If you're like me, sitting a little more at a computer than normal, and so the back can get tight. So the easiest way, or the safest way to get into this position, if you move the roller behind your thigh like so, and then you lie down on your back, you're going to put your hands on the roller, lift your pelvis, and bring the roller underneath your sacrum. Now, again, what's important here is that the roller is in line. If you bring your legs up, you want the roller, your thigh, to be right over top of the roller. You don't want the roller under your low back. So if it's too high, you'll feel that it's under the low back, and you don't want that. If it's too low, you'll feel when your legs come up like it's going to roll out. So we want to check and make sure it's right over top, that our body's right over top. Then you're going to place your feet back down on the roller. I know some of my melters in class, Anne and Sharon, you guys often use a half roller, and if you did get one, I think you guys might have bought one. This is where you use your half roller, and you can have the curved side up, so the flat side is down. Place your hands onto your pelvis, your fingers on your pubic bone. Now what's most important here is that your ribs stay still. And we'll take a breath in. As you exhale, you're going to tuck. So just like we did in the rebalance sequence where we brought your pubic bone towards your belly button, and then through your next breath, you're going to tilt where you're letting the weight of your sacrum land on top of the roller. And again, you tuck. Check that your glutes are relaxed, you're light on your feet. And when you tilt, your ribs stay heavy and the weight of your pelvis just lands on top of the roller. So it's not a big movement, it's quite discreet. And for good back health, it's important that we can move our pelvis while maintaining stillness in the ribs, and it's also important that we can do it the other way around, move our rib cage and be stable in our pelvis. So now you're going to finish in your tuck. So pubic bone to belly button. You're going to step your left foot in enough that you can feel your full footprint. Bring your right leg towards your chest. Interlock your fingers around your shin. Behind your thigh would be fine as well. We want to keep your big toe planted on the left foot so your knees tracks with the center of your hip. Shoulders are relaxed. Inhale. As you exhale, you will tuck, draw your pubic bone to your belly button. As you take your knees away from each other, so your left knee is reaching over your toes, and your right knee is reaching towards your nose, with the focus of having length through your left hip and thigh. Ease up, inhale, and then again, exhale, tuck. Plant that left foot, make sure your left knee is in line with the hip, and draw your knees away from each other. And then release. Bring your left leg up, place your right foot down. Make sure again that your right foot is lined up from the center of your hip, and that your right big toe pad is on the ground. Interlock your hands around your shin. Take a focused breath in. As you exhale, tuck pubic bone to belly button and draw your knees in opposite directions. So your right knee goes over your toes as your left knee draws towards your nose. Inhale, ease up, check that your right knee hasn't drifted off to the side. And as you exhale, tuck and draw your knees in opposite direction. Are your shoulders relaxed? Bring your right leg up and your knees come together. And your thighs are going to be on your body side of the roller so that your thighs are more towards you than away from you. Hands can go one under each hip. And then we go into our SI joint shear where you're rocking your knees to the right and left. But you're only going to 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Again, make sure your thighs are more towards you. Don't let them fall away. That's just going to pull on your low back. Land your knees over to your left and circle your legs together. This is called your SI joint shear, where we're bringing hydration and fluid flow into your low back and your pelvis. Then you can also circle just the bottom leg. So if you're over to the left, you'll circle just in the left hip. We want the circle to be smooth in your hip, so if you feel any snapping, crunching, popping, snapping, clicking, just stick with the previous shear. Or you can march, alternating your legs forward and back. Then you're going to pause, take a focused breath in. Exhale, bring your legs back to center. Then tilt your legs over to the other side. Circle your legs, keeping your ribs down and stable, shoulder blades on the mat. You can also just circle in the right hip. Make the circle start slow and small, and then you can explore with making that circle a little bigger as it feels good. Or you can march. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in, give the tissue time to adapt, and exhale, bring it back to center. We're going into our tuck and tilt challenge. Take your knees and place them straight above your hips. Take your hands, slide them up your thigh until your arms are straight. We call it saying stop in the name of love. Check that your shoulders are down and your elbows are straight. Then, as you exhale, you're going to press your thighs into your hands. You want to keep the pressure of your thighs into your hands consistent and tuck, pubic bone to belly button. Maintain that pressure of your thighs into your hands, and then you tilt. Your sacrum lands on top of the roller. With your breath, you tuck, keeping your ribs still, maintaining the pressure of your thighs on the roller, and tilt. So this is our third tuck and tilt. We've done 3 of them because by now we're hoping that you've got a little more movement in your pelvis, such as you can do this tuck and tilt challenge while maintaining stability in your ribs. One more time, you tuck, and then you tilt. So now we're going to go into our low back decompress. So if you've been feeling tight in your low back, this is a fabulous exercise. So keep yourself in your tilt. Sometimes the roller moves. If you have to adjust it, you just adjust it. So you want to stay in your tilt. The weight of your pelvis is on top of the roller. Then you'll take a breath in, maintaining your tilt. As you exhale, press your thighs into your hands and notice the lengthening in your lower back. Stay in your tilt, release the pressure, take a breath in. As you exhale, again, maintain your tilt, activate your deep-rooted core mechanism through your exhale as you press your thighs into your hands. Inhale, pause, release the pressure, and one more time as you exhale, stay in your tilt, press your thighs into your hands, use that to activate your core and decompress your low back. And then release. Bring your legs into your chest, take the roller out from underneath you, move the roller off to the side, and lengthen your legs out. And let's check. So if we did the low back decompress correctly, what we'll notice is that the curve of the low back is more pronounced, but it's shorter. So if when you did your first rest assess, you felt like you had this whole big back curve where your ribs weren't even on, notice if you feel like your ribs are down, but that the low back curve is steeper but shorter. That's what we want. Bend your knees, roll onto your side, and push yourself up to a seated position. Next, we're going to go into our upper back compression sequence. So we're going to take the roller behind us now, and you're going to lie back on the roller where the roller is just touching the bottom of your shoulder blades. Notice I'm looking ahead, which tells you that the roller is in the right spot. And if you were to punch your arms up, you would feel the tips of the shoulder blades banging against the roller. Next, we want to protect the low back. So you're going to lift your pelvis, you're going to tuck, activate your core, hold the tuck, and then place your pelvis back down. Take your hands behind your head, interlock your fingers, and we're going to do our rib length assessment, where you lengthen your rib cage. So we're not arching back over the roller. All we want to do is lengthen the ribs without losing that low back tuck, and just notice how much movement is available in your rib cage. As you exhale, contract your core to bring yourself forward. Again, lengthen through your ribs and stay there. Take a breath in. As you exhale, side bend to your right, so it's just a lateral bend. And breathe into your left rib cage and notice how that feels. Do you feel like there's any stuck stress or tenderness or restriction? And then come back to center, and then side bend the other way, and notice if there's any restriction in the right rib cage. Come back to center. What's important here is that you're not pulling on your neck, that you're letting your head be supported, so now your elbows can point to where the wall and the ceiling meet, and then you're going to slide down to the top of your shoulder blades. Lift your pelvis just slightly off the ground, and you're going to start your glide, gliding up and down in the upper 2 portions of your upper 2 inches of your shoulder blade. You're pressing with your feet, you're scooped through your belly, and you're pressing more into the front of the roller than the top of the roller. Place your pelvis down and go into your shear, which is a small twisting action. You're visualizing that one vertebra pinned against the roller, and you're moving just the one vertebra above. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Move to the middle of your shoulder blades. You're in your tuck. Press into your feet, hover your pelvis, and glide up and down in the middle 2 inches of your shoulder blade. So what we're doing by pointing the elbows to where the wall and the ceiling meet is we're pulling the shoulder blades apart so we can glide in the tissue on either side of your spine. And then place your pelvis down and shear into your twisting action. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Good. And then move to the lower shoulder blades, walk your feet, reset your feet, lift your pelvis, and glide up and down. Good. Make sure your head is nice and relaxed, supported by your arms. And then you place your pelvis down and you go into your twisting action. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Now we're going to do our inner shoulder blade glide and shear, where you reach your right elbow towards the ceiling. So that's going to tip you over to the left shoulder blade. And then you're just going to lift your hips, and you're gliding on the inside edge of the shoulder blade, and glide on the whole shoulder blade. Once you find a spot that feels a little bit sticky, you're just going to tighten up the glide. Good. And then you bring your pelvis down and you fan your elbow, or you can move your arm in front of your body in any direction. Pause, take a focused breath in, and exhale. So now you're going to, I'm just going to move down so you can see me. From here, we're going to go into our outer shoulder blade glide. So you're going to tip yourself over to your side. Notice that my hand is supporting my head. My knees are tucked up. And then you're just going to tilt back. So you're on the outer edge of your shoulder blade. Your top arm can go underneath your ribs. And then the motion of the glide is where you're side bending. Your ribs are lifting and lowering. You're gliding up and down the outer edge of the shoulder blade. This is often a place where there is a lot of stuck stress. And then we pause, and we're going to simply fan the bottom elbow for your shear. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Press yourself up. You can turn to the other side. I'm going to move my roller. And we're going to start on your back, middle of the shoulder blades. You're going to tilt now your left elbow to the ceiling. You're lifting your hips and you're going to glide up and down on the inside edge of your right shoulder blade. This is really important, especially if you've had shoulder issues or frozen shoulder in past, to hydrate underneath the scapula. So one issue that people with shoulder, neck issues is that the scapula adheres to the tissue underneath. Bring your pelvis down. You can either fan this elbow or you can move it around anywhere in front of you. So we want to get hydration flow underneath the shoulder blade. So this will help your neck and your shoulders. And then you wait. Take a breath in and exhale. Then we bring your hand back to your head and you roll onto your side. And you want to have the roller just above your bra line, basically. From here, you want to tip back, and that gets you off your rib cage and onto your shoulder blade. And then your top hand is going to come underneath, and then you side bend, lifting your ribs up and down. You're gliding up and down on the outer edge of your shoulder blade. Your head is supported by your hand. Good. And then we shear. So you're going to open and close this arm. And then you wait. Take a focused breath in. And exhale. Good. And then bring yourself up to a seated position. Now we need to rinse. So we're going to come back to our starting position where the roller is behind your shoulder blades. And we're going to slide the roller so it's just at the top of your shoulder blades. You rock your feet in nice and close so they're planted and you're in a tuck. You lift your pelvis slightly off the mat and then you want to steamroll. So you're pushing through your feet and you're rolling, pressing your body into the roller as you roll the roller from the top of your shoulder blades to the bottom of your shoulder blades. Bend your knees and come down fast. Lift your pelvis, press into the front of the roller, so we're moving the fluid down your back. Bring your feet in, slide to the top of the shoulder blades. Again, pelvis hovers, you're pressing into the front of the roller. Reset your feet and bring it in. Good, all right, so you might have moved way off your mat there as we start to move up and up. And let's just do a rib length reassess. So you're going to find yourself at the bottom of your shoulder blades. Lift your pelvis, tuck, and place your pelvis down. Hands behind your head, elbows wide. Keep your core engaged. As you inhale, lengthen through your rib cage. And just notice if you've got any more movement in your thoracic cavity. Side bend over to your left. Breathe into your right rib cage. And notice if there's any more freedom and ease there. Come back to center and side bend over the other way. Take another focused breath in and exhale. Bring it back to center. Good. And bring yourself up. So, did you notice any change in your rib cage there? You had a little more freedom of movement. Really valuable with that. So, we're going to just move the roller, just do a quick reassess and see where we're at. But then I just want to mention the importance of that upper back compression sequence we had to keeping your lungs and your mucus clear in your body. So you're going to lie down on your back, palms to the ceiling. And just notice, is there more of you on the mat than when we started? Oh, I love that warmth in the upper back. So noticing if more of your shoulder blades has contact with the mat, your rib cage, noticing if instead of a whole back curve, you have a low back curve, and also if you're more equally weighted on two fluffy butt cheeks. Turn your head to the right and left. Notice if there's any more freedom of movement in your neck. Take a focused breath in. And exhale, bend your knees, roll onto your side, and up to a seated position. So I'm going to stop the video there.